Hey guys, and welcome back. This is the From Launch to Legacy podcast. I'm Courtney,
I'm Kenneth.
and we are here to talk about all the things it takes to start and run a small business. Last time we talked about a simple business plan, gave you some tips and tricks on how to do that, what you need and what you don't really need. Today, we are going to talk about pricing.
Yep.
So, one of the most important decisions that you're going to make,
Yep.
and a decision that you're going to have to go back to and change and
It's constantly reevaluating.
yes. So before we jump into all the details, we want to remind you that we have free resources on our website, www.havensconsulting.com. They're called podcast guides, and it has resources on everything we've talked about, and then quite a few on pricing.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's like 6 today.
Yes. Yeah, I went a little crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, let's get into it. So, like we already said, pricing is the most important financial decision that you make, right? Because if you price too low, then you are exhausted. You're worked to death. You're not only are you not making a profit, you're not covering what it takes, right?
Right.
You're like beyond a hobby, right? You're like sinking money into it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just a hobby that you're getting disheartened with and getting exhausted because, hobbies cost money.
Yeah.
But this is not a good hobby.
And then if you're too high, you can scare the clients away, They'll hear your price and just walk out the door. So it's super important that you get this right. If you didn't, you can always go back and change it.
Yeah.
And we have some ways to make that easier for you.
And you may have gotten it, but circumstances, whether it's the market or the economy or the industry, whatever, has changed. So your pricing strategy is now not correct.
Yeah. Okay. So if you don't listen to anything else, if you need something to help you right this second, what you can do is try to find your true hourly cost. So that's going to be all of your expenses. That's everything it takes to run this business.
Yep.
And then divide it by the hours that you can work consistently.
That would be primarily service. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. And then of course you want to add in a profit margin. So that's one thing that you can do to just quickly see if you're in the realm. This is not how you actually go about pricing. This is just one way you can quickly look at things.
And we do, without the profit part, one of the first things we do with clients, it's called a break-even analysis. And there's a lot of different knobs you can turn here, especially if they've got, if they're selling stuff. Well, if we sell more of this product, because you've got fixed costs and you got variable costs, like rent's usually a fixed cost. So that's not going to change if I sell more.
Yeah.
But you got variable costs, like when we do a formation, I know I've got X amount of state fees for a formation, but more formations I do, the more the cost of the filing fees goes up. So you got variable costs and stuff, variable and fixed costs. So you want to try and find that break-even point and then, build that profit on top of that for what it's going to be worth for you to do this work.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with knowing your cost, because he threw in some things and you're maybe like, well, I don't know what that is. So let's start with, what are your real costs of doing it? And that's going to be, if you have a product, that's going to be your materials, your labor, manufacturing. If you do that, assembly, if you're having to pay different people to put parts together, packaging, shipping, anything tangible or that you have. For service-based and in product, there's some of this too, is your time.
For sure.
If you have subcontracted labor, if you have a team, all of those things have to go into this.
Yeah.
Not just what the product is or the time that you're with the client.
Yeah. And if you're really early on, you're just trying to hone in on something. You're going to make mistakes and stumble your way to you'll underprice here, then you'll overprice, and
Yeah.
then you just kind of gotta figure out what it is because you just can't know from the beginning
Yeah.
unless you came from a different company and when started your own and you're very familiar with the industry.
Yeah. Okay, so you also have tools and software. You don't want to forget about that. Your travel, if it's a high travel industry, materials that you need. Even if it is a service based, you've got other stuff. You've got your marketing. You've got
Mm-hmm.
your social media. Some other overlooked things are your insurance, your license, your
Yep.
certifications. Those are things that it costs you to run your business.
Yep. And a big thing that people miss, if you got any not less than monthly costs, if
Mm-hmm.
you got annual
Yeah.
subscriptions or stuff, if it's annual, divide that by 12
Right.
because that's your monthly cost.
Yeah.
And you have to take all these things into consideration because you may dump $1,000 on Microsoft in June,
Yeah.
but you're using that throughout the year and you're gonna have to do that again in
Yeah.
June. So you got to make sure you take in all those costs.
So also your admin time. So that's writing up your proposals, doing your invoices. Some businesses you talk to the client once or twice, and some of them you are talking to the client constantly.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of your time. If you're not adding that in when you're doing your pricing, then you're going to be way overworked, right? Because you're going to
Right.
have to do that multiplied by every
Yeah.
client that you have.
And this is what you'll see with a lot of professionals, attorneys, consultants, anytime they spend on your project or
Yeah.
your case or whatever, if they're researching, if
Mhm.
they're on the phone with you, if they're on the phone with someone else about it, they're billing you
Yeah.
at their hourly rate
Yeah.
for that time.
Because they have to.
They have to because they have to pay everybody.
Yeah.
They've got to keep the lights on,
Yep.
and you're the client at that moment.
Yep. So another thing to think about is employees. We will get into employees a little bit next episode and then 100 times after that.
Yeah.
But employees are going to be your biggest cost, right? Payrolls are
100%.
always your biggest. So you have to think about not just their wages, but taxes
Yeah.
and Texas Workforce Commission and
Yeah.
everything that goes along with
Yes.
that. If you have bonuses and
Commissions.
yes,
But
yes.
also they're gonna have a computer.
Yeah.
They're gonna, if you do employee lunches every
Yep.
month, now you've got another meal to
Mhm.
buy. You've got,
Subscriptions.
Yeah, you got to get an Adobe or whatever, or
Yeah.
QuickBooks, or whatever you got to get for this person. And then there's kind of the intangibles, which this is getting really nuanced, but like they're going to use more electricity, and there's stuff like that if you're really getting into the
Yeah.
weeds about it.
But this is a starter episode.
Right. Yeah. That is, yeah. Good point.
Okay. So one way to, if you're looking at that and you're like, oh, I don't know, what all this is. So what you can do is just track your time.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it all the time.
Yes.
I've done it at other companies. I've done it as an employee. I've had my employees do it, and then we do it here at least once a quarter, probably.
I probably do it once a month for me.
Yeah.
Just because
well, you have more client time.
Yeah. And I'm always trying to reassess and tweak and, all right, well, I spent 10 hours this month on this and this was zero revenue,
Yeah.
but it had to be done.
Yeah.
How do I automate this
Yeah.
or delegate or something?
Yeah. So we have a printout that you can get, or you can just write it in a notebook, or you can, make a spreadsheet. And if you go on the website, you can get an idea. I'll put in some main things that I've used so that you can get an idea. And just, what are you doing all day? Where is your time? I promise you, if this is the first time that you're doing
You're
this,
going to be surprised.
you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You think you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you may think, okay, most of the time I'm on the phone. And then you realize, okay, 90% of the time I was emailing people.
In fact, a healthy part of this exercise, before you do it, write down what you think it is.
Yeah.
And then compare it afterwards, and you will be surprised.
Yeah. And okay, so you want to calculate your billables versus non-billables, right? And so I printed out a little list here. So, okay, so some examples of billable are going to be the number one thing, your time performing that actual task, right? the time that you're doing the bookkeeping or the time that you're making the product or whatever. That's people don't forget that one.
Right.
And then you have materials and supplies, subcontractors, or freelance work that is billed back to the client.
Yeah.
So that if you're not putting this on a bill to the client, then this is not where this goes.
Right. That's not pass-through cost. That's a cost you have to account for.
Travel, if you have that. And then like we said, your softwares and your licenses. Okay. So those are your billables, your non-job specific subscriptions. Sorry.
Right.
That would not be your Microsoft.
No, that's like SG&A.
Yeah. Okay. So non-billables. So these are necessary, but not directly charged to the client.
Yeah.
So your invoicing, your scheduling, your payroll, responding to emails. I promise you, you're doing that much more than you think you are.
Yeah.
Marketing, your proposals, your estimates, your some people call them discovery calls or consultations, and some charge and some don't. So that's, depends on your business.
Yeah.
Training, certificates, meetings, right? The bigger the company, the more time you're in a meeting. Always.
Yeah. I worked for a Fortune 500 company, and I spent so much time in meetings.
Yeah.
We had meetings about meetings, and then we had meetings about why we weren't getting stuff done.
Yes.
And it was like, because I'm in meetings about why we're not getting stuff done. If you just let me work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of meetings. We try and not do that.
We have less meetings than we should, I feel like.
Yeah, we probably should have more meetings.
But it works.
It does.
Okay. Your legal, your tax, your compliance, depending on your industry, this could be a huge part, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or it could be not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Equipment, maintenance, and general supplies. So those are some examples of billables and non-billables.
Here's one to throw out to think about. If let's say you make cups, coated custom design cups, right? But you're trying out a new resin or a new design or something, and you're spending a few hours or a few days or something.
Yeah.
There's materials and time going into that. And that is R&D costs. And there's some complicated ways you can
research and what?
Development.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some really complicated ways you can recoup that. We won't get into any of that. But,
I was about to say, and I'll cut them off right here.
but that's expense that you're going to have to recoup over the sale of the entire product line.
Yeah.
But it's a cost that you need to absorb, because any cost that you're not calculating into the cost of goods sold, whether that's your service or product, that's SG&A, or other expense, and you've got to cover all of that.
Yeah.
And then make a profit. So you've got to make sure you're not missing, like you said earlier, any of these expenses, because that's just one pitfall to spring your ankle in.
Okay, so like I said, on the website there is a worksheet that you can go through that has all of these things. I know that we're going through this kind of fast, and Kenneth's giving acronyms that we don't know. So there is a worksheet. Download it, go through that. That will help you. So don't worry about taking notes right now. All of this is on the website for you. I do have a note here that most, at least service businesses, have to charge 2.5 to 3 times their direct labor.
Yep.
And that's the base.
Yeah. That's a reasonable to marginal profit margin. Yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 core pricing strategies. So you're like, well, how do I even come up with the price? The foundation, the one that most people start with, unless you have a huge business plan and lots of stuff gone into it. So that's cost plus pricing. That is your direct costs. So what it takes to make your cup.
Yep.
Your overhead, right? So that's like bulk materials.
All the other costs that don't go into your product.
Plus whatever profit you are looking to make. So you take those 3 things and you divide it by the number of units you can make with this amount.
Yep.
So it's not infinite, right? It's how many you can make with the amount that you just put down.
Yeah.
So if you only have the material to make 10 cups, you cannot divide that by 100 cups.
Right.
Okay. And that'll give you your price. So that is the easiest, fastest way to get a starting point.
Yeah.
We don't want to stay there. We'll go through some other ways, but that is your best way to start.
Right. Yeah. That's just to get you oriented.
So, okay. So cost plus. So that is anyone who's just starting out. Retail shops, clothing stores, it's easier for them because they know what their prices are going to be, plus their overhead. Basic contractors like lawn care or cleaning or something like that, because it's a pretty stable, they know what their supplies are costing. They know what they're paying. So that's good. Even if you're in one of these other realms, if you're just starting out, start there.
Yep.
Okay, next we have value-based pricing. So the pro for cost plus pricing is that it's simple, right?
Right.
And it's all-inclusive but not great, right? It has all your costs in there and it's over that, but it's not great. The con is you don't know the true value of what you're providing.
Right.
So, and there's examples on the worksheet of how you go about that. So next we're doing value, and this is based on the value you've created, not your cost. So this is more for specialized expertise, or if you can prove your return on investment, if you can prove your ROI, this is the best, right?
Yep.
This is great. If you can say, I increase my clients' profits by 20%, go with this, because then you just take a percentage off of that.
And this is really for your businesses that are, let's take cups. That's kind of what I would call a luxury industry, right? No one has to buy this to go about, it's not like your electricity provider or something like that. It's a luxury. So this is going to be more for on the value based on your things that either solve a problem or are necessary.
Yeah. I've got like marketing agencies, consultants, or health and wellness, those are one, personal trainers, things that it's providing value, but it doesn't have a material cost usually.
Right. It's that intangible, which should be able to be conveyed somewhere in a tangible, like, if you're going to pay me $15,000 to make you 50.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
right. Yep. So if you can prove your ROI.
Yeah.
Okay. And then some niche.
Ow.
Niche.
Magic Nietzsche.
So IT security, architects, anybody in advisory type. So that's value based. Like you were saying on cups, if you start cups on a cost base, great. And then you get really good and you can make something like this, which is very nice. This is a premium primo cup right here. This is worth this. I would pay well over what this is worth. This was a gift, so I have no idea if he did or not, but I love it. We had a client come in and she saw my cup and she goes, whatever you paid for that, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was not as much as you think.
But what I'm saying is I've got some cups that are like, okay, it's a cup, right?
Yeah.
And that would be a cost plus pricing.
Yep.
And then this one, start there, and then you are great at your job.
Right.
You are great at your job. So then you go value, right? Because you can charge over what that is because it is excellent.
Yeah. Or if it's a luxury product, you can fad pricing. So like, example, Yeti coolers, when they first started, they were not expensive. And
really?
They were used almost exclusively on like fishing boats. They worked really well. They were heavy duty, but they weren't, normal people didn't use these coolers. And then someone was like, hey, these coolers are awesome. And prices like quintupled.
Yeah.
Because they could, because people would buy
Stanley.
them. Right. And then they make cups. And when the Yeti cups came out,
they're astronomical expensive.
And
and not cute.
No.
So I don't get it.
No. And then you had the Stanleys that, really resonated with the pumpkin spice crowd.
Yeah.
And the Ugg boot crowd.
Our girls.
Yeah. But now I think Oh no, I've got a Simple Modern. That's what we've got. Simple Moderns. That's mine.
I mean,
It's basically a Stanley.
it's great that they hold the ice for that long. That's great. But like, you're not drinking very much.
Right.
If you need that ice for 24 hours, like I'm filling my cup up
Right.
multiple times a day.
Right.
Anyway, off topic. All of our cup,
We
makers
love cups.
Okay. So your third one is your competitor-based pricing. This one is pretty simple. Everyone else charges this, so I'm going in with this, right?
Yeah.
So you've got some examples are gym memberships, salons, hairstylists, some e-commerce stuff like cups.
Yeah.
So this is a third way when you're honing this down and trying to make this the best. You want to use all three.
Right.
You want to start with making sure you're covering your cost. You have to start with one because it doesn't matter if you've got great value and you're competitively priced. If you're not covering your costs, it doesn't matter.
Right. And this is where you have to be really strategic, because I would say, like you just said, do all three. Do your cover your cost, then do the competitor, because maybe you need to lower, maybe you need to raise. And then if you've got a lower, well, now we're not covering costs. Okay, so how do we adjust?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of strategy we can talk about, because sometimes you need to sell something at a loss to make money. And
That's
that
right.
sounds crazy, but
get your foot in the door.
Yeah, maybe a hook item, and then you can use that to upsell more product, more services, whatever.
Okay, so we've talked about competitor analysis in previous ones. I mean, we may go into it in super detail, but if you have questions on it, please comment below and we'd love to answer them.
Yeah. Or if you need some help with some market analysis, give us give us a call. You can schedule an appointment at havensconsulting.com.
Yes. Okay. So when you are working on your value based, here's just a couple of questions that you can ask yourself. What problem do you solve? What's the financial impact of the solution? How much would it cost for them to solve this problem elsewhere? And what's the cost of not solving this problem?
Or what I've run into, how much have you already spent trying to solve this problem before you came to me?
Yes. You're like, I don't want to put another $1,000 into this. And it's like, but if you don't put that 1,000, you're going to cost yourself 5.
Right.
Or whatever.
Or 1,000 a month until we get this fixed.
Yep. Okay. And then when you're doing your competitor based pricing, you'll see usually 3. You'll have your premium, which is your superior quality, which is my Scream cup. I would pay premium price for that. You have your market rate, which is within 5%. That's basically industry standard for whatever.
Yep.
And then you have a value, which is below market. Now, if you are doing value, you better be efficient and minimalistic. You better have a way that you are making that work for you, right? You don't want to just have your pricing the lowest.
Yeah. And honestly, the market rate is probably the least profitable here when done correctly.
Yeah.
Because premium, you're providing a product that is like Nike can charge more. And just because they're Nike, you've got like Temu. That's your value base, because they have
found a way to make it extremely efficient.
Yeah, sweatshops. But it's super cheap to make this stuff, so they can get products that are maybe not quite the quality, but they're good enough, especially for what you're paying. And then in the market rate, you can kind of get forgot.
Looked over.
Yeah, because you're not a super high quality product, but you're also not the cheapest. So you're the middle child.
Yep. And what we've talked about in previous episodes is that premium, right? Find out what your competitors are doing they are doing not great, that you can do better. You don't have to be premium above everybody in everything. Just target the thing you do better.
Yes. Yeah. And again, if this is market wide, if you're a value. Now, if this is your tiers, like I think you'll talk about in a minute, that's different, because the middle one's going to be the one that lands almost always.
Yeah, that's for the market. Okay, now we're going to talk about psychology and positioning. So these are how you present your pricing. You've established which one of those hopefully someday all 3 of those you're going to use. And then now, okay, how do I present this so that people want to buy my product?
Yeah.
So the first thing is anchoring. That's when you have a premium package where you're like,
Yes.
here is the top of the line.
Yeah.
It's worth $100,000. But for you, I have this, which is $50,000.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes with tiers. So anchoring is the psychological effects, right? And tiers is going to be your usually 3, sometimes 4, you know, a tiered system, right? You've got your premium best offer, you've got your middle ground, and then you've got good.
Basic,
yeah. Or basic is fine. You don't
want to call it basic. Well, you can.
Even on your lowest one, you need to make sure that if the customer picks it, you will reach all of their goals.
Yeah. I like what you put here, good, better, best, not bad, good, but really good.
On the lowest one, they need to leave satisfied if they pick that.
Yeah.
They're not usually going to pick it. They usually pick the middle, but you want to make sure that if they do, you're not giving them half done work, or you're going to have to go back and charge them more, because then you're looking at problems down the line. So you just want to make sure that all of your tiers are good, solid investment.
And are we going to talk about how to kind of price those?
You can, sure.
So we'll do that on maybe the next when we do a little bit deeper dive on how to price tiers.
Okay. So another way that you can work on presenting your prices is bundles. Everybody knows what a bundle is. It's easiest when you're talking about Wi-Fi TV phone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many years did my grandparents pay for a phone they
landline.
were not using just because it was in the bundle, right?
Yeah.
It's just silliness.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can bundle things together and people are like, well, I'm getting 3 for the price of 2, and they may not even use one, but people love it. Yeah. And then there's odd even pricing. So we all have heard that if you have, like, Walmart does $97 instead of $100, or 97 cents instead of $100, because you feel like you're getting a deal.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So if you've got that odd number, that makes it feel like you're getting a deal, but it can also feel like you're getting cheap.
Yeah.
And then if you want a more luxury, saying $2,000 versus $19.99,
yeah,
you feel like you are getting the more professional one when you have that even number.
Yeah.
So just depends on what you're going for.
I put love this on there.
The odd even pricing.
Yeah. And kind of this, and going back to the premium pricing, you can actually attract sometimes, and you have to do this very deliberately and correctly, but you can actually get more clients by raising your prices sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it conveys a higher quality.
Yeah.
So, I mean, something to think about.
Yep. All right. So you have picked out your pricing module and model. Okay. And then you know how you're going to present that. And now communicating. So, I love my acronyms or whatever. So this is the value framework. So this is how you can go about figuring out how you're going to present it. Yeah. So you verify the problem and the impact. You articulate your unique approach, right? This goes back, everything layers on things we've already discussed, right?
Right.
You should know the problem and the impact and your unique selling proposition from previous episodes. So if you're jumping in now, some of this may seem like a lot, but if you're stacking.
Yeah, go back, and if you're getting hung up on anything, go back. We've got an episode. I don't think we really talked about anything that we haven't kind of covered the basics on before. So go back, find that episode, and we'll try and walk you through it.
Yeah. And if you just in the comments be like, hey, what episode was this on? And I'll let you know. I got a spreadsheet full of that.
Yeah, you do. Or ask us a question, and we'll try to answer for you.
L on value is list the specific outcomes. U is understand their decision process, which we would have talked about in the customer journey, and explain the pricing. That is a big one. I think we discuss it more in a minute, but making sure they understand why things are priced the way that they are can get rid of some hesitation and some blowback before it ever starts. Okay, so that was the value framework. Verify, articulate, list, understand, and explain. Again, these are on the website. And a quick win that you can do is just record yourself explaining it, which will be intimidating for some. It gets my heart racing every time we do one of these, right? Because I get nervous and I'm like, people are going to look at me. So I do get that, but you don't have to put this out there. Just do it in your closet or something. Yeah. Explain the benefits of why someone should use your company and your pricing model, and then look at it and see. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just see, does it make sense? Pretend it's somebody else. Would I buy this product? That's something easy that you can do right there. A key takeaway is that confident pricing comes from clear communication and not apologizing. So I don't know if do you want to talk a little bit about that, about pricing in the beginning and how scary it is.
Yeah. There's going to be, and again, we're going to lean a little bit more towards service on this part because, again, product pricing, once you've figured out kind of your acquisition or manufacturing costs and those kind of level out and you just kind of adjust for fluctuations there. But for service-based pricing, especially in the beginning, if you don't do these models and you just jump out there and someone's like, well, that's pretty high, and you're like, well, I'll do it for half that.
Yeah.
And now you're working for under your value, which and when you're putting in that much work for not enough money, your quality of work will decline. Therefore, your customer satisfaction will decline, and your reputation will decline. And that, I mean, this is a domino effect that can really hurt your business. And when you said explain the value, that's the thing. When people think things are too expensive, they're either overpriced or they don't understand the value. And
if you've done your unique selling proposition, you've already laid this out. You can already explain why they should spend a little bit extra for this to get it done right.
Yep. And try not to explain. Don't say, well, I've got to cover X cost.
Yeah. They don't care.
The customer does not care what your costs are. They care what their costs are. They care about what this does for them. They don't care if you make money or not.
Yeah.
So make sure you're explaining how you're adding value to them, not to you.
Yep.
Or this is, I got to cover my costs.
Yep.
Well, they'll be like, well, figure out how to lower your costs.
Then you're getting into defense. And if you're defensive, it gives them the upper hand. And
because if you're defending your prices, that means your prices need to be
defense.
And that means they're bad prices.
Yep. Or you're not explaining it.
Right. Yeah. So having that confidence in your prices, even if you're not, especially in the beginning, a lot of business, especially your personal one-on-one interactions, you're faking it. You are not confident. You just need to fake it.
Yeah. So I heard this thing the other day, and it was someone saying, I don't like the saying, fake it till you make it. I say, make it till you make it. And I was like, okay, that sounds a little woo-woo.
Yeah.
I'd say it's kind of in between those two things, right? Absolutely, you're going to have to fake the confidence.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to have to learn. But you are doing it. And most of the time, if you are in a position that you're working at something that you really care about, 90% more than everybody that you're going to talk to about this.
But you're focusing on the 10 you don't.
Yes. But we will talk about more about that and imposter syndrome and stuff and our mental health. But if you are with us, if you are listening to this, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, you're trying to learn. But I have told this to every employee I've hired, to clients, contractors. If you have a willingness to learn and a work ethic, I can mold that into
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If you are looking at not just throwing a price up there, if you like, I want the research, I want to know why and how to do it correctly, and I want to, follow these steps so that I don't make some of the mistakes that we us
Right.
made and other people have made that we've learned from, you're already doing it. You're already making it. You're already doing a great job.
You're already ahead of 90% of your
That's right.
competitors.
That's right.
This is what we do. We work with
Yeah.
small and
Medium.
medium, depending on the context. And that's why we're doing this,
Yeah.
because no one's doing this,
Yeah.
because this information isn't out there, and we're just watching people, just money bleeding
Yes.
out the door because
Yes.
they're not.
Because they don't know
They
this
don't know.
stuff, and it's so hard to find.
Yep.
And if you find stuff that looks okay, they want you to pay
Right.
$20,000
for a
to
coaching
take
program.
the class. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Going back, sorry, one more thing. The fake it till you make it. Yeah, you're not faking it. You're practicing. That's what
That's
you're
right.
doing. You're practicing.
yeah,
You're just not great at it.
yeah,
But guess what? You're a lot better at it than you think you are.
yes, for
'Cause-
sure you are.
Because, like you said, you didn't jump into an industry and start your own business. Like, I didn't start
And that you didn't know.
manufacturing aircraft. Like, I didn't,
Yeah.
have no idea. This is something we've done for
20
decades.
years, yeah.
So you know a lot about your product
Yeah.
or your service.
Yep.
You're focusing on the 5-10% of the interpersonal marketing that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah,
Don't think about that.
Yeah.
Think about your product. Think about just
why you're doing what you're doing.
if you really believe in your product, that it really helps people, you will be passionate about that, and it
Yeah.
will come out. And
Yeah.
that people don't want to buy stuff. People want their problem solved.
Yes.
Don't sell someone something. Solve their problem.
Yeah. All right. Pricing without compliance. So that is risky. So you want to make sure that you're paying your taxes, people, not coming 7 years later. Pay your taxes. Okay.
And that's a huge problem.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of our tax work that we get is 5-year arrears.
Yeah. Make sure that if your industry is regulated, that your licenses and your insurance and your permits and your certifications are all up to date and current. Your contracts, make sure that you have payment terms in there and late fees. And if you're working with someone on a like a service or consulting and you have IP built in,
Yep.
make sure that you have ownership of that. So that's just a little bit about that. If you're worried about compliance stuff, let us know, and we'll do some research on your industry and help you figure that out. But
Yeah.
make sure that you are compliant in your space and that you're putting that into your pricing.
Yep. And don't cut corners here. Don't lie to your insurance company about
Yeah.
the scope or the quantity or what, so you can get a lower rate. Don't lie on your permits. I used to work in the oil and gas industry, and that was,
Scary.
I was, the second time I was in an office. The first time, I was out there, but there was a policy of, like, we're not going to buy overweight permits because the fines, the amount of times we get caught, the fines are cheaper than getting permits for everything.
Yeah.
We don't invest in this safety thing because the amount of lawsuits we have to pay out when we kill people are
Yeah.
cheaper than implementing this across the board. Don't cut corners.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if it saves you money, it will destroy your reputation.
Yeah.
That company I work for, that Fortune 500 oil and gas company, doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so here's some mistakes to avoid. You've got underpricing, and here's some ways that you can do that. Is if you're competing just primarily on price. So you don't just want to look at other people's price and then use those, okay? Because your situation could be very different. Another one is you're not accounting for all of your costs. If you're not sure what your costs are, look at some of these things on our website and see.
Yep.
And if you're still not sure, call us. We'll have a consultation. We'll figure this out together. Undervaluing your expertise or experience. You may be thinking, well, I've only been doing this a month. Okay, but did you do this for 10 years working for somebody else?
Right. Then you've done it for 10 years.
Then you've done it for 10 years and 1 month.
Yeah. You've been self-employed for a month.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for 10, 20 years.
Yeah. Or fear-based. Like, that means someone comes to you and is like, well, that's expensive, and you cut it in half, like Kenneth said earlier. Some overpricing pitfalls are that you didn't do market research. You're like, I think I should make this, and that's what I'm going to make.
And no one buys it.
Yeah, because you're out of the realm.
Yeah.
You know, you ignore a competitive position, or you don't communicate your value. That's a big one. And then premium pricing without premium delivery. If you are saying my whatever is this much better, it better be. Or lower your prices. You know what I mean? If you have high prices, you better have high standards.
Yep.
And then inconsistency. Now, this is a big problem in service-based work.
Yep.
We have an episode on scope. If you don't want to listen to the whole episode, we have a worksheet on scope. It is so important that you know what you are doing for this amount of money, and they know what they are getting.
And what they're not getting.
Yep. And then that will really help you define your prices as you go on.
Yep.
When you know how much work each project is taking.
And sorry, go ahead.
No.
The inconsistency, one of the things that, and again, we learned this early on, was not clearly communicating what the expectation from the client was. And, you know, it's like, why isn't this done? It's like, because I'm still waiting on this from you.
Yeah.
Like that weekly follow-up email I sent asking for this. That's the key piece I need to get that done.
Yep. So, and if you see that, you know, you're having clients email and they're like, why?
Yep.
You need to look at how you're explaining things and change it. If this is a problem that comes up repeatedly, then you need to work with AI on how to explain this to a 5-year-old. You know, you don't have to be ugly, but sometimes, especially like with Kenneth, he loves numbers and accounting and all this stuff. So sometimes he'll explain something to me and I'm like, I don't have the basics of this to understand what you're saying. But, you know, we're a couple and we've been at this for years and I can talk to him like that, but a client's not going to know to say that. They're just going to know they're confused.
And if you're a service-based provider, your clients, especially if you're business to business, your clients don't want to convey or ever admit ignorance. None of us do. None of us want to look stupid. I put that in quotes because you don't look stupid.
Right.
Not knowing something is not stupidity. That is ignorance, and you can learn something. I'm ignorant about countless things. You know, I can learn about them or whatever, but they're not going to ask because we all have ego. And that I mean, we talk about business psychology. This is something that you have to consider. And if they don't feel comfortable, they'll go somewhere else because
that's right.
They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look stupid. No one wants to look stupid. And you're right. I have really tried to work on it, but early on and still sometimes I'm an over-explainer and I use a lot of technical jargon, and I've really tried to bring it back to layman's terms because there's a whole bunch of technical jargon I don't understand on other things. So, and to reassure, because people don't come to us and go, hey, my business is running great. Can you just make sure it's running great? Yeah. No, they're like, I have a problem. Yeah. They're already insecure. Yeah. They're already having to admit that something's wrong. Yeah. And if you're selling a solution, that means someone has a problem. And if they have a problem, they're insecure about it. Just because we're humans.
So you just want to make sure that you're very clear and explaining things in a way that they don't have to keep asking you why. The answers are already built in. And one way is look back on emails and just, okay, I've gotten this. I feel like I get this a lot, and start new ways, right?
Yep.
New ways of explaining it. All
That's your
right.
patterns and systems.
Yes, your patterns and systems. Okay, so that's the first part of this. That is pricing part 1. We're going to go briefly over pricing part 2. Both of these will be on the website. So this is going to be a more advanced stuff. If you don't have what we have talked about in the last 40 something minutes, then stop here and do those things. And I'll just do a brief overview of this second part. Okay, so if you have done all of those things and you are ready for next steps in pricing, so that what you can do is segment your customers. So who you serve and what they value most. You should know that if you've done your ideal customer. If not, the worksheet's on there. So there's 3 types of customers in what we're talking about right here. So there's their premium customers, there's price sensitive customers, and then there's long-term clients. Now those are pretty self-explanatory. So your premium customers, they do premium packages and they have budget flexibility, and that's usually like a long-term focus. It's not usually a one-time thing. Even with cups, if I'm paying for a premium cup and I get it and it's great, I'm going back there. Right. Okay. So there's some ways on here on how to message those kinds of clients, and that's who you want to move towards, right?
Yeah.
Is premium usually in most cases. You've got price sensitive customers. Those are short term. You need competitive pricing. What you should highlight and talk about is cost saving things. And then you've got long-term clients. Big deal in service, right? Repeat buyers. Long-term clients are referral, they're referral generators. So a way to approach them is loyalty perks or add-on discounts for multiple items. So a quick win there is that you can take 10 minutes and categorize, okay, my clients are which of these?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is the characteristics of them. This is how I should approach them, and then it'll tell you how to message.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the other stuff, don't worry about this one yet, but that's something that can help you kind of hone in your messaging along with the brand message episode. Okay, number 2 is advanced pricing models. Okay, so this is for established businesses. Some of these things are dynamic pricing, which is seasonal. So like you sell Christmas cups, the price goes up around Christmas, right? There's premium rates, and then you can do rush surcharges. So
yeah, we do that.
Tax season for sure. If I need this in this crazy, and I need this done in a week,
you're gonna pay for that.
Yeah,
expediting.
That's right.
Expedition.
So that's dynamic pricing. You can look into subscription and retainers, which I will tell you, if you have a service-based business, this is how you move to the next level. Right. If you can create something once, and that you don't have to put in more work.
Yeah, no more work, time, or money has to go into it, but you can resell it.
Yes.
That is that's IP.
Yep. So subscription and retainers are a way to increase your pricing, and then performance-based pricing. So I definitely would not start out with this.
No.
You need a clear outline of your work and the flow of that.
Yeah.
But so that could be pricing that's paid during parts of projects, but there has to be results guaranteed along with that, and that's a premium thing. So if you're just starting out,
but that needs to be meticulously outlined and detailed in a contract that's agreed to on when payments happen, how payments are calculated, all that.
Yep.
That's, I mean, like you said, these are advanced pricing models.
Yes. All right. And then next we have how and when to raise prices. You're going to have to do this. Everyone has to do this. I worked in the hair industry. This is hard on the stylist or massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that I know at least waits way past, time because they love their people. They've been with them for years sometimes. But every time it happens, you're losing your bottom clients. Your best clients are going to stay with you.
Yeah, I was about to say, start raising client or prices with your least favorite clients.
Yes.
Because
I was going to say that one thing. I would definitely do that. But one thing you'll have to know is if you are only raising clients with your least favorite client, they're probably going to leave. So I don't want that to discourage you.
Right. I mean, there's a phrase: if you double your prices and lose half your clients, you're making the same amount of money doing half the work.
Yes.
Actually, you're probably doing 20% the work, because those bottom clients, that's where your quality clients are the ones where they're not a pain. You're not spending as much time. It's those, I call them deadwood clients, because you got to burn that off and just,
Yep. And I have that down here in like at the end of this little section. So I'm going to say it again because he kind of went over it fast. If you double your price, so if it's $50 for a haircut and you're like, and you have 100 clients and you're like, okay, well,
I'm working 80 hours a week.
Yeah. I've got to work less and I need to make more. Okay. So you double. If half of your clients leave, you're making the exact same amount of money.
Still making $5,000.
So just think about that, okay? If your prices are double and you lose half, you're at the same place and you are working so much less.
And have a lot less overhead, so you're actually making more money.
That's right. And you have all that time to go market to new people.
Or make your process more efficient and make it more profitable. Or so you can more strategically lower your price without losing money. And this is, like you said, very dynamic. This is a ever-changing system that you have to constantly keep an eye on.
Yep. So what we have in here is to review this every year. In the fourth quarter is the best.
Yes.
So that way you can start the new year with the new prices. And I think people understand that better.
Yeah.
They're more willing to change over at the beginning of the year because it's just like a reset, right? And again, this is hard in hair and massage therapy and estheticians. It's hard in that industry because you love these people. They've been with you for years. And you're like, well, it was just Christmas. Your people are going to stay with you. They love you. If you love them, they love you.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. And if the bottom 20% are gone, what a weight taken off of you.
Yeah. I can remember some times where I definitely felt like some weight was lifted.
Yes. And it's in the beginning, it's scary. And you're like, people are leaving. But then after you get over the initial shock, you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much free time on my hands.
Yeah, and I feel lighter because in all likelihood, it's going to be that client
that calls constantly or never has their paperwork. Or if you're in self-care industry, they're late. They no-show you. They complain and they take your joy when they're in your chair.
We're thinking of the same person.
All right. So how to communicate these increases? You want to give them notice. You don't want them to come in and say, hey, you have to pay more. Okay. So we say 60 days. It can be more than that for sure. Let them know that prices are changing. You want your tone to be respectful and confident, and you want to talk about the value. Yep. The price should be a little bit and then all the added value. And there's plenty of ways to fluff that up, you know. So on the website, there is samples of all of this, like, so that you can put in your own words,
Not
but
scripts, but
scripts.
well,
That's
yeah.
the word. Yeah. So there's some scripts for you on there just to give you an idea. You can tweak them or use the exact ones, whatever, to help you out there. Some tips for that. If you're in the middle of a project, you grandfather that project till it's complete. You do not change prices once you've started.
With one exception, if scope was not clear, accurately conveyed to you, if the client left something out, that's not the same thing.
Right.
That is new discovery.
Yes. Yep.
But if it's exactly what y'all agreed to and you raise the price,
Yes.
that's just bad business. Don't do that.
Yeah, do not do that. Okay, so you send their notices out differently. You say all current active projects will not be affected, but in 60 days, or whatever you're going to do. You can, this is something you can decide if you want to do, but you can offer prepayment. So if you sign up for 2025 taxes before the end of this period, you get that price.
Yeah, you get the current pricing if you go ahead and prepay for it right now.
So that gives you prepayment. That lets you know you have this certain amount of work coming, and it actually works out well for you.
Yeah.
If you can do that. You can bundle additional value with increases. So make sure you talk about your value, what they gain because of this.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to leave. It's okay. You're going to make up for that in your price increase, and then you're going to have time to go find new people.
Yeah. And it is scary. And this is especially, we're not talking about what we call startups, $10 million initial seed money or anything like that. We're talking about small business, or how we describe them. And these are, individuals or, a small group of people pooling their money together. And you have a lot of your identity and value kind of tied up in this company. And when someone leaves,
it hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
It always hurts your feelings in the beginning. Eventually it doesn't.
Because you understand what's really happening here, and you don't take things as personally. And so we know the first one's scary, but then it's scary for about 5 seconds. And then you go,
I can breathe.
Yeah. I don't have to deal with any of that anymore.
Yeah. And you get to meet a new client.
Yeah.
You get to, and as your expertise grow and your confidence grows, your clients should be going in that direction. The people that you serve should become easier people to deal with, know? And if they're not, look inside and see. Like if you are progressively getting people who are harder and harder to deal with, there's something going on.
Yeah.
And you need to start from episode 1.
That's right. Yeah, because we used to, when we were very small, we were just doing little bookkeeping and stuff like that. Take anybody at any price, really.
Yeah.
And now, the first step for me with a new client, especially if it's a big project, is not the discovery. It's not research. It's I'm interviewing the client.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if
I'm giving parts of my life to you.
Yeah. I'm seeing if I'm going to, not if you're going to hire me, which is how they usually feel, but I've told a few clients, I'm like, well, this is really me seeing if we're going to be compatible and if we can work with you. And I have certainly told some potential clients, I'm like, I don't think we're a good fit.
Yeah.
Maybe here's some people you can try.
Yeah.
Our competitors. And, and that's healthy. Because you're going to see some common traits in that person you had in the beginning that you still...
And you're like, I can't.
That is now your totem, your mental image of what a bad client or bad customer looks like.
And they're not always necessarily a bad person.
No.
They're just...
Not a good client.
They don't fit with you.
Yeah. I don't think I'm a bad person. I'm a terrible pilot. They're just... Certain things we're not good at. They're just not good clients.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about some do's and don'ts. Do tie your increases to the value.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you talk about new results or added features or your rising expertise. Put in some new features or something, really play the value increase there.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare scripts, not just your initial email or letter or whatever that you're going to send out, but go ahead and have some ideas of what you're going to say if there's some, blowback or questions or whatever. If you can just come up with as many questions as you can and try to answer them beforehand, you'll feel so much more confident even if you don't have them on you.
You'll kind of know what questions they're going to ask too. You'll know.
Yeah, it's the things that people complain about before.
It's when you raise the price, think about what you initially just then worried about the client.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to ask. Then
what if they
Yep.
write all those?
Well, if they do, then do this.
Yeah, write all those down and get a good answer for them. Do track your churn, which sounds so crazy, but
That's a chum. I was like, what are we doing? Going shark fishing?
Raising prices will weed out unprofitable clients or terrible clients or people that you are already like they're just looking for an excuse to leave. And if it does that, you don't want those people anyway. They're not going to talk good about you.
Mm-mm.
They're not going to leave you good reviews. Just get rid of them. And then you can say that you parted ways because of a price increase, not anything else that could happen down the line.
Yep.
Okay, those are your do's. Don't apologize. Do not say, I'm sorry.
But we got to raise prices.
Right. Or to your inconvenience or whatever. It's not an inconvenience. You are valuable and you are worthy and you are worth it.
That's right. And yes, that 99% and the other 1% is you now frame this as a negative.
Yes. Yep.
Not as a we're gonna raise prices a little bit, but because you're gonna get this, and it's a positive.
Yes. Don't do it mid-project, right? Like we talked about. If you're going over and you're doing it for your whole system or whatever, make it absolutely clear that the price they're quoted for that project is the price they are getting for that project. It will not change until the project is completed and this 60-day period or in the new year or whatever.
Yep.
And then don't increase without adding clarity.
Yeah.
Okay? I know I'm saying these things over and over, but they're so important.
Yes. The value, I mean, that's if you take one word away from probably the first 13 episodes is convey your value.
Yes. Okay, so some things we talked about are segmenting your clients so that so all of your clients can fit into those segments, or you can have clients that fit into different ones, and then you can have services that fit each different one. Like they don't all have to be that, but that helps you avoid pricing mistakes, right? These people are in this category, so we're going to price them like this, but they're not going to get all the stuff that this person does.
Yeah.
These are things that you can do to add money later on as you progress, is retainers and subscriptions and performance based. But just remember, don't do those at the beginning. Those are for after you're established. You have a good groove of where your business is headed. You've got good clients to start these things with. Don't put too much on your plate so that you're too overwhelmed.
And don't build a bunch of structures before you understand how interchanges and the relationships with your clients are going to be.
Yeah. I'd say if you are not a year into business, I wouldn't do any of these advanced.
Because you may not even be doing, we've talked about that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Was like, wait a year, or unless, it's like, oh, well, no, this is, that we're locked in, and this is what, and we're cooking with gas. Then, okay.
Do your annual reviews. Make sure that everything is aligning the same. If you have the same prices and then a year later you have 10 employees and the same prices, you are at a loss, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Confident communication, make sure that you explain the value and that you don't apologize.
No.
You are worth it.
Yeah. You do not have to apologize for running your business well.
That's right.
Make it worth it, and it's worth it.
That's right. That's right. All right. So that is it for pricing. You've got all the basics. You've got some of the bigger down the road picture. If you have any comments or questions, we would love to hear about them. And then I'll let you know we've got part 1 and part 2 of this, the guide, the resources so that you can do this. But I also made a pricing strategy worksheet so that so that you're not just reading this and trying to figure it out. You can fill it out, check it off, whatever. There's a time tracking worksheet, which I'm going to add some more into that. It'll be up on the website by the time that you hear this, and that will be so good for you. Price increase script. So if you're worried about how to say it to your clients, you've got that going. And then the 4-week action plan checklist. So that one you will have to email us for, but that is week by week, step by step, how do you implement this with your own business. So there's lots of resources on the website. It's www.havensconsulting.com, and we are so glad that you guys have kept listening, and we can't wait to hear from you. All right, bye.
We'll see you next time.